Okay, and then just a quick little heads up. Throughout the presentation, if you're new to the GoToWebinar software, the software you downloaded that's currently running, there's actually an area for you to ask questions there. So at any time during the presentation, if you'd like me to dive into something a little bit deeper, or if you kind of didn't quite understand something, go ahead, ask a question, and I'll periodically check and take a break to go ahead and answer anything that you have. So with that, I've got my slide deck here. My name is Todd Miner. I'm a product manager here at Apptivo. And I kind of do a lot of general demos. You'll see a lot of documentation is by me, but in general, I'm kind of a product evangelist. I'm in charge of working with the customers, understanding their needs, understanding how they use the software, and just helping people take advantage of what the platform can offer. So Apptivo, it's a cloud-based suite of business applications. And it's not just independent little applications that do things such as like, okay, it's a CRM system and a project management system, invoices. This is a series of integrated applications. So it's designed from the ground up to be a single platform that can operate your entire business from end to end. But the idea behind our applications is these are all enterprise-grade tools that are normally only available to the larger businesses. So our vision as Apptivo is to kind of take all of these enterprise-grade tools and make them available for the small business market. So we like to make our platform very affordable, and we have excellent pricing plans that allow a business to get started for very, very minimal costs and then grow with the software can grow with them as their business grows. So, as I mentioned, it's an online suite of applications, and we have over 50 total applications within the platform. And what we've done is we've broken these applications into several different categories. And just to kind of give you a quick little overview, you can find all the applications on our website, but we have a couple primary categories. At the heart of the entire system is where the CRM suite lies. And this is where you can manage your customer database, track your sales leads, track customer support requests, anything of that nature. And then we have several other kind of primary categories that fit right in with the CRM. So one of the most popular ones is the financial suite. So we have a very strong invoicing and quoting or estimates application available. They interface directly with the CRM. We also have a very strong supply chain suite, which includes both order management, so you intake the orders, you track the shipment of the order out to your customers, you manage all of your inventory inside of the warehouse, in addition to the sourcing end of it. So the process of tracking all of your supplier data, filing purchase orders, tracking the invoices that come back from the suppliers, everything like that. And in addition to that, we also have a very strong project management suite to organize your projects, track tasks, track all of your hours, and go report on those hours for maybe invoicing for later. And we have many other suites. So we have a human resources suite, we got product management, we have marketing tools, just about everything a business needs. And one great thing about Apptivo is because it's based in the cloud, you can access it from anywhere. And as long as you have an internet connection, you're going to be able to get to your business information in real time. So of course we have the standard web tool accessible from any web browser, any device, whether it's a mobile phone or a laptop, whatever it might be. But we also actually have mobile applications as well. So you're able to download an application on either Android or iOS devices. And we have one application just for invoices, but we also have one main application which contains like all of your central dashboards, your task lists, and everything like that, in addition to the entire CRM suite. And one of the greatest things about Apptivo, as I kind of alluded to earlier, was the software can grow with you. You can customize the platform to meet just the specific needs of your business at this current moment. But even if you only utilize a small part of the system when you first get started, you have the ability to kind of expand and build on top of what you're already using. And these applications are already in the system. You're already part of your plan. There's no additional costs. And they work the same as all the other applications that you're already used to using. And I'll dive into that a little bit more in a moment. So what we've got here is a lot of customers will come on board, and they're only looking to solve one specific problem. So maybe I just need to send invoices for my brand new business, or I just need somewhere for all of my employees to store contact information. So we have one single database. Everybody might have like one specific need that they need to solve immediately, but then maybe in the future they see themselves expanding. So you can see here is we've got several different types of point solutions, one of which is just an invoice-only solution. And then a company might be able to kind of tack on a couple other apps. So maybe they're sending invoices at first, but then they decide they want to start tracking their sales opportunities, putting in the calls, when things are expected to close, so they start closing more. And they'd also like to issue quotes out to their customer because they think getting an estimate that gets approved online is going to provide a higher probability of getting that invoice paid. And then, of course, you can build a complete all-in-one end-to-end solution. And here's just one very small example where you can see it goes from a lead to an opportunity. And then you can see where we actually have two potential different business flows that we could go through. Maybe some types of deals you issue a quote for, but some types of deals you need to go start a project and track your hours for. But for both of these, at the end, you're going to go invoice your customer. So at Apptivo, you can kind of add the apps you need. You can set them up however you need. You can configure only the business flows that are relevant to you and really make the platform work however your business really needs it to. And for this, what we have is one of the great things about being in an integrated platform like this is any feature that you get, any like really nice feature that you would like to see in one of your applications is available in all of the applications. So for example, we have this great Newsfeed feature, which I'll show you in just a moment, but it actually shows you like all of the events going on in your business in real time. And it's not only can you get one newsfeed for the entire business, but you can actually get a newsfeed for like a specific customer record or even like one app in particular. We also have a feature called the 360 view, which lets you see all the related data throughout the system. It's really kind of unique. You can't like go into your CRM system, for example, and then just say, okay, well, show me all the projects for this customer, unless you have a single platform that contains both your project management as well as your CRM data. And also beyond that, we have a developer API. So this, once again, is just included within the premium and enterprise plans that we have available. It's just part of those 50 apps that you get. And what this allows you to do is you can either develop your own custom application that would extend or add additional functionality to Apptivo, or the most common solution is you can connect an outside application that already exists. So one really common thing, almost every business has a website. Almost every business has like a contact form on the website. So using the API, you can actually go ahead and just put a form on your website, but have it submit either a sales lead or a support ticket inside of the Apptivo system. There's also many, many other uses for that. So that's enough of these slide decks. Let's go ahead, let's dive in, and let's take a look at the actual product. So here I am on the Apptivo website, and let's go ahead, throw it into full screen mode and get out of the developer console. And we're going to go ahead and log into one of my demonstration accounts. So here I'm going to hop in as Kenny Clark over at Global Technologies. And when you first log into the system, you're looking at your personal user dashboard. So this is the area of the application that brings all of the individual apps together. So those common features that I talked about that are available throughout the system, this is where their benefit is really highlighted. So let me just kind of give you a quick tour through a couple of these features. Across the top of the page, you're going to see the navigation, and this is how you go in between the individual apps. So if I want to go to the Invoices app, I click Invoices up here, and I can get a list of all my apps available right there. Very similar to Google if you're a Google user. But over here on the left, these are the homepage dashboards. So basically what you're going to end up doing is if you need to put data into the system, or if you need to just go look up a certain piece of information. So for example, if I need to create an invoice, or if I need to get the phone number for a contact, I'm going to do that sort of activity within the appropriate application. So if I need to create an invoice, I'm going to go to the Invoices app and create it there. But when I log in the morning and I just want a quick update on what's been going on since I last logged in, or if I want to look at like my task list or my calendar and understand that what's currently pending me, what do I need to be working on today, that's exactly what these homepage dashboards are for. So every morning when you log in, you're drinking your morning coffee, you can go ahead, you can click on this news feed. Instantly I can scroll down, I can see every event that went on within the business. It'll show me who did it, show me when it happened, and it also gives me a link to the relevant information. So I see Kenny added himself to the John Doe's website design project. If I click this link, it'll take me over into the project's application, and now I can go look at the details of that specific project. But back on the home page, one thing I mentioned earlier is the newsfeed can be filtered in many different ways. So here's one really cool thing you can do with the newsfeed. So if you're a manager and I have an employee, Frank, and I would like to know what Frank has been working on recently, it's very, very simple for me now. Just go in here, click on Frank's name. Here's everything Frank has done for the company since we've set up our Apptivo account. So it's very, very easy to get visibility into what each one of your employees are doing and also what your colleagues are doing as well. And for these other dashboards, these are all pretty common features. We followed a very similar structure to most business software where we have 3 types of reminders that you can set for yourself. We have a calendar area where you can always input any any dates, times. You can invite all of your attendees. There's a set date and time, just like you would normally used to in your calendar. And this is one feature. We actually do have a lot of Google Apps integration. So if you're a Google Apps user, you get a bidirectional sync with your calendar. And in addition to the calendar, we also have what's called a follow-up. So this is specifically related to the CRM applications. So let's say I'm calling a customer. If they say, let's meet tomorrow at my office at 2 p.m., that's going to be an appointment. It goes into my calendar. But let's say I call them up and they just say, hey, I'm really busy right now. Could you give me a call in 1 week? That's what the follow-up is designed for, where the follow-up is just a date and a quick little note. So it's not quite as important as the calendar, but it's kind of the next layer. And beyond the follow-up, so if I have something where I talk to a customer and they've requested a quote, but I need to go and write a proposal. So basically, I have a bucket for every other item that I have to accomplish, and that's in my task list. So this is kind of everything else, and when I create a task, I'm going to get the ability, I can categorize it, I can give it a status, whether it's completed or not. I can also prioritize it, and all of these individual fields are configurable. So I can get a very, very clean list of all of the pending items that I need to accomplish, and also because these dashboards show the events or the tasks from every application, now you get the ability to cross-prioritize the things you need to do in different areas of your business. So you might have one task that says follow up on an overdue invoice, and another task that says follow up with a new sales opportunity. And now, since you have them both in the one system in one dashboard, you're able to look at the two and decide which one's truly more important to accomplish first, which is, once again, something unique to an integrated platform such as this. As far as these other tabs go, these are just kind of a couple more standard features. The call log, it's basically whenever you speak to a customer, you're able to record the history of a call. So this just shows you all of the past calls. And then we have My Assigned Objects. This is basically just a quick little view into seeing all of your records from a specific app. So I can say, okay, all leads assigned to me or all customer support cases that are currently assigned to me. Just a quick little shortcut instead of going into the app. Then the last feature we see here is we have very great email integration. So what you're able to do is you can connect any IMAP email account to Apptivo. And what Apptivo will do is we'll read all of your email automatically. And one is you'll get this central dashboard that we're looking at right here. Just shows your complete inbox, all of the email coming in. And I can take any email and I can relate it to any record within the system. This is actually something I can do with emails, tasks, calendars, and everything. Where Apptivo, yeah, we recognize that it's just one email, but you might want it to appear in, let's say, a project. So you want everybody working on the project to see that email history, but you also might be working, like, you want it just to appear on, like, the main customer record. So what we do is we get the ability to click on any email, any task, anything like that, and right here we have an association section. So all I have to do, let's say if I wanted to add this to a project, is I click the Add button, I get to pick the app that contains the data that I would like to relate to, so I would click Project, and then I just get to search. I get to find the project that I would like this email to appear on, and it's as simple as that. And I could go add many different associations. So I could also come in here and go add it to a contact, for example. Basically do everything I'd like to do. But that's just the manual association part. But we actually have a unique feature which is just for the CRM apps. So if you have a contact or a customer or a lead record, then we're actually going to do automatic association. So we're going to read the email address that you have stored for a contact, and if you go look at the email tab of the contact, you're automatically going to see your entire email history there. You don't have to worry about like adding some special BCC address or like a plugin for your email client, anything like that. Our system's just smart enough to kind of read the email and know what's related to that record or not. Okay, so these are the homepage dashboards, the common features. I'm sure they don't make too much sense yet, but in just a moment I'm going to kind of dive in and I'll show you how they're related to a specific record. But first I want to take just a moment and go deeper into this navigation up here, because this is very important. So this application, I mean, I'm on a demo firm. I've got almost all the apps added, so you can see here I've got a lot of different applications ready to go. Could be a little bit overwhelming for a brand new user. As I mentioned, Apptivo, a lot of customers will start off with just one solution or maybe like a small basic flow, but a typical customer only utilizes maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 applications, something like that, when they first get started. Unless, of course, you're a very seasoned veteran of using a CRM or using an ERP software, and you just need to replace your existing systems. There's certainly outliers who do everything, but a lot of customers will start off nice and small. But what we allow you to do is we allow you to kind of simplify this navigation and customize it so it only shows the applications that you need. And not only do you get to set it up where, like, okay, well, one business gets to simplify what apps are available, but each user gets to have their own configuration. So in your company, you might have, say, an accountant and a salesperson. So the accountant can have all the financial applications, and we can pick the order of the applications that appear up here, so I get the apps that I access the most available within one click. So for example, if I'm the accountant and I never use the leads application, it's very simple for me to click on, oops, gotta get out of full screen, click on more. I can go to customize my apps, and now I have the option to pick any app. So I could come in here and say, okay, well, I would like the employees app to appear there instead. And now the employees app is available within one click. So each user gets the option to kind of set this up however they like. But in addition to that, if I wanted to, say, either completely remove an application from this navigation, or if I know Apptivo has an app that I would like to start using but it's not already enabled, then that's what we use the App Store for. So over here in the upper right corner, you'll see a link for App Store. And if we click on this, it's going to show us every application available inside of the system. So one quick little note about this is inside of the Employees app, it's under the Human Resources category. That's the application where you're going to add users. And when you add a user to the system, we allow you to define a security role, which determines which applications they can or cannot access. So based on those security roles, if an employee did not have access to something, they're going to see a big red access denied button here. So it will adhere to security, and you can assure that the employee never gets to see data that they shouldn't see. But inside of here, if I wanted to remove an application, so let's say I don't ever use the candidate's recruitment tools, I can remove them, and then instantly that's yanked out of my nav. It doesn't delete any data or anything like that, so my fellow colleagues can still use those apps, but it just removes it from my specific navigation. All right, so that's how you get in between the individual apps. And one thing I want to show you before I go dive in, I'm going to show you the Customers app, and then I'll show you like a quick little business flow. But if I bounce between the applications, so here I'm going to click on the Invoices app. I'm inside of the Invoices application now. And now I'll switch over to the Customers app. One thing you're going to notice about our system is each one of our applications is designed the same. They're all highly consistent with each other. So the idea is we understand 50 apps. It's a lot for a new user to understand. But when you learn one application inside of the Apptivo platform, you now know how to utilize all of the applications. So for example, if I wanted to create a new customer, or I just create a new record, in any app, there's always going to be a big blue button right here to create the new record. If I want to search for something, it's always going to be right here in the upper right corner. If I want to change the settings of this application, it's always right here, right next to the search field. So even if I go over to Invoices, I'm going to see those same exact components available. So you can apply your knowledge in one app to all of the apps. So with that in mind, I'm going to take a tour, and we're going to walk through the Customers app, and I'm just going to show you some of the common features that are available. Obviously, I can't dive into the details of every app. We have a very large platform. We actually do specialized webinars on each individual app for each solution. So today, I'm just going to kind of focus on the knowledge that you can use to apply to everything. So here, across the top of the page, when you'll notice, as soon as I'm inside of an application, I'm going to get the app name up here. And at any time, I can always click on this, and it takes me back to this main home page, which just shows me a list of my recent customers and also a newsfeed just for this app. Up at the top, we have a couple little links right here for you to kind of control how the application works. So the notifications, this is just for the user you're currently logged in as. And what notifications allow you to do is, one, all those newsfeed events that we saw, you could choose not to see one of those newsfeed events by unsubscribing from that newsfeed notification. But also, if there's an important event that you would really like to be notified about, for any one of those events, you can choose to receive an email about it as well. So I can say whenever a new customer is created, Apptivo will shoot me out an email. And next to the notifications, we have the settings area. So notifications is available for every user. Settings is only for administrators. And inside of the settings, each app has its own individual settings, but there's kind of a couple common types of settings we have. So one is we have like data level access, for example. So we can apply additional layers of security so a salesperson doesn't see another salesperson's leads, something like that. We can also define a couple preferences. Okay, which menu item selected when I first come to the app. I can show or hide a couple fields. Like if I'm using e-commerce, I might want to show some additional data. We also allow you to completely customize the fields inside of Apptivo. So if we have like a drop-down list, we ask you to categorize your customer, you're going to be able to rearrange the values inside of there. I can add new values. I can remove a value, get complete control. And we have all these default fields. We allow you to configure those. But even if you have a field that you would like to start tracking that's not included within our CRM, we have a feature called custom attributes. So here I've got a drag and drop editor where I can go create a new section. I can add text fields. I can add drop-down menus. I could go remove a whole section. Basically, you just get complete control to do whatever I would like with my data. And I can do this for each app where I get to pick the fields that will appear inside of that specific app. We also have many other settings. You can configure email message templates, like the Invoices app has like a PDF template editor. It's another cool drag and drop tool that you can utilize. We have like payment reminders instead of invoices. Definitely go explore. Each app has its own cool little features that are kind of buried away inside of the settings. And now then the search. We have a basic keyword search, so I could just go find a customer like that. But also if I wanted to kind of create like a list of customers, so over here on the left, I could just filter by like, okay, a specific category of customers. A very basic list. I could sort by just all customers that start with K. But let's say I wanted to create a list of, okay, all customers assigned to a specific sales representative who are also in a specific category. So I can run that search. Whoops, I should probably find some data in it. So let's just look for everything assigned to Frank. Let's see if he has any customers. Okay, so Frank has a few customers. And if I wanted to save this list for later, it's very simple for me to say Frank's customers. I have the option to share it with my other colleagues. And oops, looks like I've already created that one before. So when I hit Save as Report, what it does is it'll make that this list available within one click anytime in the future. So once I save it, I'm able to go to my report section over here in the left column, and I can click here, and I'd be able to find that report. So somewhere in here, there we go, Frank's residential customers. So I click on that, it would rerun whatever search I had saved before. So you can see over here, I've got all of my saved searches. But in addition to kind of the saved lists that you create, we also have built-in reports into every application. And each app has its own reports. So like a sales application is going to have a performance report where I can see like, okay, well, this sales representative processed 20 leads. They converted 10 of them. The value of the converted leads was $8,000. So just kind of like some high-level metrics on how they're performing. I can do reports such as, okay, well, I would like to see all of the calls that all of my employees did over the last year. So I can run a report like that. I can download a spreadsheet of it. We also have like a couple little charts so I can see where my customers are coming from, which category they belong to. Like I said, every app has its own reports. Definitely check them out, explore what's available in the apps that you're looking at. Other than that, over here on the left, really the last feature I guess I got to show you is just the import. If any of you are coming from an existing system, or even like in the leads application, many times you might like purchase a large list of leads, or maybe you come home from a convention and you have a big list of business cards. So we allow you to just take a spreadsheet of data, and you can upload mini records in bulk. And this is available in most of the applications. All the CRM app has this as well. And also just in addition to that, we give you complete control to kind of modify and manipulate the records in bulk. So once I get the data in here, let's say if I wanted to change the assignee of everything on this page, it's very simple for me just to select them. I can change the sales rep of them. I could even select all my records at once if I just wanted to like wipe out my database, or if I wanted to export everything to a spreadsheet. Very, very simple and flexible as far as how I'm able to work with my data. So with that, let's go ahead and let's look at a specific customer record. So we're going to bring up this Maxalon customer. And for every record in the system, whether it's a customer, a project, an invoice, a contact, whatever it might be, when you first bring up the details of the record, you're going to see a series of tabs. So these tabs are all related to this specific customer. And the first one is the Overview tab. So this is where we store all of the unique data about this customer. So all the fields of information, their name, phone numbers, address, all of that stuff, in addition to any of those custom fields that you defined. We also have a couple quick actions here. So I can shoot them an email. I can schedule the follow-up that we talked about. I can delete the record. Basically just manipulate it. And then what we have is we have these other tabs which show all of the related data and the features available inside of this application. So the first thing I want to draw your attention to is this series of tabs right here, from this little Newsfeed over to the email icon. These are actually the same exact tabs that you saw on those homepage dashboards. So these features, they're available in every single application, but the idea is I can go drill in, I can look at this customer, and I can look at the calendar just for this customer to see any appointments I've scheduled with them. So here's last month's calendar. But I can just count on the fact that all of these appointments, they're aggregated back to the home page. So for the most part, like if I wanted to schedule a new appointment, I'm going to be looking at this customer record, and I'm going to go create the appointment from here. And you're going to notice because I created it from the customer, in this associated section, it actually says it's associated to this customer record. And yeah, I could actually go link it up to other records as well, just like I can do with the email. But once I put it in here, it would immediately pop up on my home page. So this is what I'm talking about, where generally when you're inputting data into the system, you're going to be in a specific app. You're going to be doing it in the context of whatever you're working on. When you're trying to figure out what you need to work on, you're just going to go to those central dashboards, and it's going to show you 100% of everything you got scheduled. So that's the same for all of these tabs right here, just call logs, follow-ups, tasks, same exact stuff you see on the home page. The last two tabs right here, these are two more common features available in every single application, and they're both very basic, but they're also both very essential. The notes, it's exactly what it sounds like. I have a rich text editor. I can just type and share information with my colleagues, shows who did it, when it happened, all that. And then we have the Documents tab. And with Documents, we have a couple cool things here. One is, yeah, I can just surf my computer and I can grab a PDF file, an Excel sheet, image, whatever, any file on my computer. But also, if I'm a Google Apps customer, I can search my Google Drive account and I can actually just go, okay, well, I want to look inside of my client projects folder, and I want to grab this entire folder. I want to link that whole folder here. I could also grab an individual file. And then what it does is instead of actually storing the file in our system and making you download it, if I click on that, it'll just open up a new tab and it would take me to that document. And we have the same exact type of functionality with Dropbox if you're a Dropbox user as well. And once again, they're available throughout the entire system, so I can link up a document to anything. But just like those homepage dashboards, there's one application just for documents. So if I just want my central company document repository, I can always go to that app. The last tab I want to show you is probably the most important tab. It's really one of the coolest features available inside of our platform, and that's the 360 view. So this is what allows us to see all of the associated data to this customer record. So what we have over here is a little drop-down menu, and I can just pick the app that I would like to see related data from. So let's say a customer calls in and they talk to your customer support rep, and they start asking about the last invoice. Hey, do I have any pending invoices? How much do I owe? So even if this representative have never known about the customer record, they don't know about any of the invoices, as long as they can just ask, what is your name? And they hop in here, they go to the customer's app, they can just pick invoices. Here's the complete invoice history with the customer. If I need to go view a specific invoice, like, okay, well, they want to submit a payment over the phone, I can click on this. It'll take me over to the invoices application, and I can immediately go record that payment. And I can do that for every application. So let's say they ask about a quote that we sent them last week. Well, here's my estimates. Here's all the projects I've got going for them. Here's all the work orders. And let's take a little bit of a different approach. Let's say they start talking about a problem that they're having. So this would be like a customer support request. I can go pick the Cases app. I can see if we have an active case for the problem they're talking about. But let's say we don't, and we need to create a new case. I don't have to go to a different app or load up anything else. I actually have a button right here where I can just click that button, and it'll generate a new support ticket. This would go into the appropriate application. So this is stored over in the Cases app, but you'll notice it's linked up to this customer record, so it'll still pop up right here, but it really saves me a lot of time as far as having to enter everything in, because really everything I need is all available in this one dashboard right here. And the last thing I want to show you on the customer record is actually I want to take a quick look back at the Newsfeed, just explain one point that's very cool about this. So on the home page we saw every event inside of the system is recorded, shows who did it and everything like that. But when you're looking at a specific record, it's not just, okay, well, was the customer phone number changed? Did I upload a document to the customer? This is actually any change related to anything in the system that's somehow linked up to the customer. So even when, for example, they place a new sales order, when they pay an invoice, when you issue a quote and it gets approved, every one of those events pops up right here. So what you have is a complete interaction history between your business and this customer, all available in the one spot. So coupled between the customer newsfeed and the 360 view, you really do get that true sorry to be cliche, but 360 degree view of your customer. It's got all the data you need, and it's all in one spot. Okay, so let me go ahead. I realize it's been a few moments since I've checked for any questions. Let's see if we've got anything here. Oh, GoToMeeting, where is the questions window? It's somewhere in here. Can't seem to find the GoToMeeting questions. This is actually a bit odd. So I apologize about this. It's a little unfortunate. I cannot seem to locate the area for questions on my end. Give me one moment. I'm going to pause the screen. I will be right back. Okay, so I can't see any questions, but I see that there have been no questions asked so far. So perfect. We'll go ahead and I'll continue on. Basically, the last thing I want to show you today is just one of the business flows. So we talked about the common features and like, okay, well, how to access a specific record. But now I want to talk a little bit about how you can kind of make data flow together and build a business process. So one thing I want to take a quick little aside to is how to seek help, how to identify like a complete solution for you to build together. Because like I said, this is just a general introduction. It doesn't really cover how to accomplish any specific business process. So one thing I just want to kind of direct you towards is our online help resources. One thing right away, you probably already saw that this is where you signed up for the webinar, but we also have past recorded webinars. So I've done topics such as like how to do project time tracking, like tracking your hours and turn it into invoicing, how to do basic invoicing, how to do Salesforce automation. So you can find videos here, and also we have a YouTube channel, lots of information there. But the best resource is, well, it's our answers site. We have tons of information here. So also if you have any questions, you can actually ask a question online. We'll go ahead. You'll get a professional answer to it. But this is our general knowledge base. You can search for everything. But oddly enough, I just kind of like to rely on Google. If you need to find anything, so let's say how do I create an invoice in Apptivo, just punch it into Google. We do quite well, so you're going to get all the relevant links right here. You can see, okay, well, how do I create just a brand new invoice, or how do I create it from an order versus how do I create it from a timesheet? See a couple of our videos here. So we definitely take a lot of care to make everything readily available. So if you just punch it into Google, there's a darn good chance that we've thought about it, we've published some information on there. So the first thing to kind of do is kind of figure out what kind of solution you're going to put together. So let's say I'm a company and I want to do like, let's say I'm a computer repair company. So I need to track my sales of, okay, well, somebody talking to me about a problem they have, and then I need to go send my technicians off-site to go perform the service, whether they're like installing new equipment or fixing the old equipment, whatever it might be. And then I need to go bill for the hours that were spent on that service. So here I could do, okay, well, I need to implement a service delivery process. And we actually have a guide specifically on this one solution. So here you can see kind of the basic flow of how everything works. So it's what we like to call a lead to invoice flow, where I can go through my sales, I can issue a quote, and then I'm going to use the work orders app for this specific type of business. And then at the end, I'm going to bill for my work. So basically, I'm going to hop through here real quick. You can always refer to this guide afterwards. Really, what I just want to show you is how the data kind of seamlessly transfers through. So let's start off with a sales lead. I have a lead in here, Patrick McElroy. Key him in. I might know a couple details about him. So let's just say maybe I know his phone number. But that's it. And what I can do is inside of the app, of course, I can track all my follow-ups. So I might give him a call. I would log the call afterwards. Maybe I shoot him an email. So I can do everything from right here. And I'm going to learn more about the customer. So, okay, well, I come back, I update the record, and maybe I learn like their business name and a couple other details. And maybe also like I learn what products they're interested in. So let's say that this person, they don't need computer repair, they need like some new server equipment. So we have a product database as part of the product management suite, but it's interfaced with the sales application. So I actually can go surf my product database, and okay, well, I can say they're looking for a server, so show me all the servers. and I can go select the exact products that they were interested in purchasing. So even the salesperson can throw that on right there. And what that does is that data is actually going to follow us along the entire time. So let's say we talk to them. It's pretty likely we're going to close the deal. So we're going to go ahead and we can convert this. So we can move it on to the next stage. But the idea is we don't want to lose any of the information that we already typed in. So you'll see Apptivo, it'll kind of guide you through the process. It'll show, okay, we're going to create 3 different records from this one lead. So we're going to generate the customer, which is the account or the organization, the business entity. Then the contact is that individual person. Then we have the sales opportunity. So just to kind of give a quick little overview, a lot of companies use this as the customer. That's where like the public phone number, the public email address would go. How many employees do they have? What's their revenue? The contact would be like the person's home address, their hobbies, their cell phone number, that sort of stuff. And then the opportunity is about the deal. So it's how much money is this worth? When's it going to close? What's the probability? Things like that. So with this, I go ahead, I hit Start Conversion, and then what it'll do is it'll just copy over any of the relevant information that I had in the lead and pre-populate it here. So for the most part, you shouldn't have to retype anything. I just get to hit Convert, and the system does all the work for me. And on the opportunity, we do have to type in a couple more details, so we probably want to name it. So we're going to install some servers. We get to select the stage it's in. Say it's 75% likely. Going to close at the end of the month, and it's worth $800 for us. So with that, I can go ahead, hit Convert. And now at this point, yeah, I'm still left on the lead, but if I look on the bottom of the lead, I'm going to get links to all of those records that I just generated. So I can click here, I could go in directly into the opportunity, or I can head over to my Opportunities app, and it'll be directly there. Just wanted to kind of show you one cool feature. I like this pipeline view where when you're in the sales applications, it's really cool to see like, okay, well, here's all my projected revenue based off of the opportunity. So it'll forecast how much revenue based on your probability and the amount of each opportunity. So here I can see everything closing this month. I see there's my Patrick McElroy, and we're forecasting $600 of revenue for it. So I can bring this up, doing much of the same. You're probably calling the customer, qualifying the deal. But eventually you're ready to move on to the next stage. So let's say this customer wants us to give a quote to them before we actually go ahead and install the servers. So from here, I can actually click Generate, and I'd be able to pick what I want to do. And I want to pause right here for just a moment because this is really kind of a key thing in Apptivo, is we can configure the business flow that we're able to take. So let's say in this business, 100% of our deals we issue quotes for. Just everybody gets an estimate no matter what. So I don't want my employees to be able to generate a sales order or a project. We simply don't use those in our system. So what I can do is I can click Settings. I've got a conversion section, and I get to pick which paths are available. So you can see, like, I actually could go directly from an opportunity to an invoice. I've disabled that. So for this example, I can go ahead. I can just turn off those other options. And now when I go back and I look at Patrick, when I try to generate, I'm only going to get the option to create that estimate. So I kind of force my employees to go through the business flow that I've configured for them. So here, I convert to the estimate, customer contacts, information's automatically yanked over. I got other details, like I can have multiple different templates for the estimates. And then I could go in, I could add services in here. So let's say I've got installation, it's going to take 10 hours at $50 an hour. We have complete capabilities for taxes. I can, California sales tax. I can even do, there's a bunch of custom fields we can do in here. This is really a very, very basic setup as far as what is able to be done. Like we have supplier pricing if you're sourcing the products from others. Lots and lots of details. But let's go ahead. Let's just take this estimate. We can email it out to the customer. If we had an email address, it would pre-populate it here. But what you'll notice is one cool thing about our estimates app is, yeah, it'll attach a PDF file that they could download. So kind of the classic view of what they get. It's branded with your logo. We can change the look and the feel here. Shows all the product descriptions and everything automatically. But also gives them a link to view the estimate online. And if they view this estimate online, we actually have a built-in approval process. So here, I could actually go online and they could approve it or reject it. And I do see a question just popped up, and I'll get to it in just a moment. Okay, so the estimate got approved. Basically, I just want to wrap up this little flow right here, and then we'll dive into that. So now the estimate, it's in the approved section, and I can grab this estimate. Once again, you can move it on to the next stage. So if you're kind of noticing the theme here, I can always take my information and I can just move it on to the next stage. So for this case, I need to dispatch my technicians off-site, go schedule them, and have them track all the hours and everything like that. So I'm going to use the work order application. I could also create like a project to track the hours internally. depending on what I would like to do. So here, I'm now in the work orders application. Once again, it pulls all the information from the estimate. Very, very straightforward. Here's all my services and products I've already defined. And I can go create the work order. Then on the work order, once again, we got those common features. So very simple for me to go in here. I can create an appointment. And on my appointments, I can surf. I can invite all of the employees who need to attend. And if you're a Google Calendar integration, you can even go grab the contact out of the system, and it will email a Google Calendar invite to the contact automatically when you generate this appointment from Apptivo. So I can schedule all my resources. They can go off-site. They'll go perform their service. They can come back, and we can go update the work order to mark it as resolved. So I can come in here and say, okay, well, install the servers and tested everything. I can say who did it and also when I responded. And the work order, we could optionally send it out and get the approval. So the approval works just like the estimate. So I can hit send, and you'll see it gives them an email with the template in there, and they can go approve it online. Or I could just go turn it into an invoice and get paid. So once again, I just hit generate, go to invoice. All the information is done for me. Extremely simple. All I have to do is hit email. And what it'll do is it'll take the invoice, shoots it out to them, has all those services on there. But one cool thing we have with our invoices is like how the estimate, there's a web page to approve it. Same with the work order. Well, the invoice is very similar where you get a PDF copy and a web page, but on the invoice you can actually set up online payment options. So here, if I got like my PayPal account connected, if I hit pay with PayPal, it'll take them, it'll open up the PayPal pop-up. I can complete the payment there, and then the payment will actually automatically be recorded inside of the Apptivo system. So you wouldn't have to do anything. But let's say the customer sends you a check. It's still not a problem. Oops, I didn't mean to cancel that invoice. But you can always just manually record a payment inside of any invoice as well. So looking at an invoice, they send me a check. Okay, well, it was check number 995. They paid the full amount, so I'm going to mark the invoice as paid. And at the very end, the invoice, it knows that you're at the end of the flow. So what I can do is I got one button. It'll automatically update and just sends them a notification. Okay, thanks, we received your payment. And it gives them a PDF file that's marked off as paid with a balance of 0, so they got a receipt for their records. So at that point, basically everything's done. You completed your whole process. But the coolest part is Apptivo tracked everything for you. So I go back to that customer, Patrick Co. If I go to the Newsfeed, look, here's a series of events that we just accomplished. The whole flow automatically logged there. I understand the complete history of this customer. If I ever want to bring up that invoice again that I sent to them, there it is. If I want to bring up the estimate I shot to them, everything's just already plugged in right here automatically, and that's really the benefit of having everything in one system. All right, so I got a couple questions here. I'm going to go ahead and answer them. Basically, that was the end of my demonstration. So if you have any additional questions you want to throw in, definitely now is the time, and the last part of this will just be Q&A. So number one, how do I set up ZipMark and PayPal? So it's pretty straightforward. Basically, you need to have an account with the other provider first. So inside of here, let me go to the Invoices app. Basically, you'll do it from the Invoices application, and it's inside of the settings. So I would just go to Payment Methods, and you'll see here I've got each one of those methods. We currently integrate with ZipMark, PayPal, Google Wallet, and Authorize.net for electronic payments, or if you want to accept cash or check, you can basically just put an image in there just to indicate you accept them. And let's say if I want to connect PayPal, I just hit Edit. And there's actually a link right here, so I could go create a new account. Or if I already have an account, basically I just have to get this like API username and password. And once I hit Save Changes here, it's all completely done. But let's say if you actually want to go check it out later, just say connect PayPal to Apptivo. Bingo. So there's an article. It'll show you exactly how to do it. It'll also show you where inside of PayPal to go looking for that information. And for ZipMark specifically, just go ahead. I believe we have the same thing. Let me just make sure that there's like a button to go sign up. Okay, for ZipMark, you'll actually want to go. And what you can do is you can actually email. There's a special email address that they have just for Apptivo customers, so you can get priority support. Just email apptivo@zipmark.com. Let them know Todd sent you, and they'll definitely take excellent care of you. And actually, just in case you don't know about ZipMark, they're a really cool company, especially if you do invoices for large transactions. They have a 1% transaction fee with a maximum of $5. So if you're doing like a $2,000 invoice, PayPal is going to charge you about 2.9% plus 35 cents. and versus ZipMark is going to charge you $5 flat. So there's potentially a lot of savings there. It's a very cool company. Okay, the next question I have, does IMAP work only with Gmail? I can't get my domain's email address to authenticate. So the answer to that is definitely not. It does work with Gmail, but it works with just about any provider out there. A couple common issues you might be experiencing is like potentially you have the wrong port number or something like that on there. If you want to throw in, I'm actually pretty knowledgeable on this subject. If you want to just ask another question and tell me who your email provider is, and I can give you a little bit additional insight there. But right off, I'll show you like my configuration. This is how it's set up. For Google Apps, it's like this, imap.gmail.com, 993. The important part is it's on almost everybody is on port 993. If you aren't using this port, this is the most common problem somebody makes as far as what their details are. But definitely, if you can't get it set up at all, I recommend just emailing our support team. We're pretty knowledgeable. And you said one-in-one internet, and I know for a fact that they do support IMAP. So what I recommend is just one-in-one internet, email, IMAP settings. If you hadn't noticed by now, I'm a huge fan of just Googling stuff. All right, so let's see here. Accounts. So IMAP. So it's probably these, imap.oneandone.com, port 993 is most likely what is going to work. Potentially it's different for your specific server, but yeah, I mean, if you can't find the generic details online using port 993, you still have problems, definitely just let our support team know. We'll be able to help you out and check out what's going on there. Okay. Next question I've got, and I realize I'm going through these backwards. Sorry about that. I've got one that says, can I use Joomla or Drupal to create a website and call the API to that site? And the answer is absolutely. So unfortunately, you listed the second and third most popular CMSs that we don't have direct integration with already. Basically, we already have WordPress plugins out there, so we could do like Apptivo, WordPress, e-commerce. I guess I'll just show you from the website. So if you look under the partners section, you'll see we have 3 links. So we actually have plugins available for WordPress, one for e-commerce capabilities and one for like the web to lead and web to case form. We also have like for some recruiting tools and such. And these plugins are actually built on top of our developer API. So although we haven't built a Drupal module or I don't really know what the term for Joomla is, I think it's a plugin, you could just theoretically build the same type of integration with those just using our API directly. So here, if I wanted to go integrate Drupal, for example, use the information in this developer API guide, and you could produce the same exact functionality that we've built inside of our WordPress plugin. Okay, and then one little note for Val is I see you sent a couple questions. They're numbered 1, 2, and 4. I don't see number 3 on my end. So in case that one got missed, go ahead and type that one in again. And then I see one more question I got up here. So how do I take project and integrate with invoicing? So I'll give you the quick like 2-minute overview, and then I'm going to point you in the direction of some online help to get. So basically what you can do is when you create a project, we have several different billing types. So I have to go enable the project management app. So I'll turn on the projects app. And when I generate that project, I'm going to get to pick how I'm going to charge for this project. So the option is either I can just charge a flat fee, this project's $10,000, or I can do it in phases. Phase 1 is $500, phase 2 is $2,000, phase 3 is $8,000. Or I can do based on the hours that I log. So if I do time and expenses, then each task I can actually go input my work in. Like we actually have a built-in work timer. It's pretty cool. So I can just say, hey, I'm going to start working on this task, and then it'll just count for until I come in and I stop it when I'm done. And then what we can do is we can actually define the billing rates for each one of your project team members, and we can convert the whole project right into an invoice. So we definitely try to make it super simple. So if I'm looking at a project, guess what? We have the generate button, and we can generate an invoice from it. One other kind of unique flow some people do, especially if they're using a lot of subcontractors, is they might want to track timesheets, where basically instead of generating an invoice straight from the project, I can have each of my employees generate a timesheet from the hours logged in the project, and then the timesheet gets submitted out for the approval of their manager. And then I can turn the timesheet into an invoice instead. But what I recommend doing is just go ahead and check out project time tracking and billing. Right here at this guide, if you just Google project time tracking and billing, we should be #1 result. this guide right here, this is exactly what you're looking for. It explains all the different flows available as far as how I'm going to go from a sale to an estimate to a project and then over to the invoice. Okay, there we go. Saw number 3 come in. All right, so this next question is, when doing an invoice, I have it all filled out and press send results, enter valid association. That sounds very strange. I've never heard of that error before. Okay, so it's got to be related to the email. So I'm going to take a guess that you're in here. You are, oh, sorry, I have to take an unpaid invoice. You probably hit, oh darn, that's a recurring invoice. Here we go. Okay, so I hit send. I'm in the email pop-up. I'm going to take a guess. Did you use this extra associated to section and link it up to like a project or something? Potentially you like added project right here and then you typed in something that like you didn't actually match an existing record. That's definitely possible. Although one little note I'm going to throw in there is I'm going to put in a request. Or we should update this interface. This is slightly outdated. It should still work all fine. I don't expect any bugs. As long as you actually type in, like, you know, so if I type in something that doesn't exist, I'm going to get that enter valid association error. So I think that's what's going on, is you just actually have to link it up to a pre-existing project. Also, just as a side note, this is only going to associate the email. It's not going to associate the entire invoice. But yeah, I'll put in a little note. You'll just notice it looks a little prettier if I go to like the email tab and I compose an email from here. So I think this is just a little bit nicer looking. So I'll go ahead and I'll put in that quick little note. Update. So thank you for bringing that one to my attention. And yeah, I mean, I guess just let me know if that is indeed your problem, or I'm pretty sure it is. And if you have something weird, just go ahead. You can shoot it to me offline, and I'll go help investigate that one individually. So I guess the last thing I want to leave you with is how to seek assistance in the future moving forward. So one, definitely I recommend check out the future webinars. This one, it's an introductory one. If you want to get one of more of those like topical webinars. So for example, I run them on project time tracking and billing, and that actually happens to be my next webinar. I'll be running that next Tuesday. So in 1 week, I'll actually be running through like that whole project time tracking and billing guide, but I'm going to show you real time. So you definitely might be interested in signing up for that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, basically inside of the app, if you got any like just little questions, hey, I got a problem or something I want to figure out, we pride ourselves in the fact that we got built-in support chat. So at any time down here, you'll see we got agents online just about 24/7 during the week, so you almost can always get help. So you can ask here; they'll help you out. If you have any questions, you can contact me directly. Definitely not a problem. I'll help out whenever I can. My schedule is a little bit inconsistent, so I can't always get you the fastest response. So what I recommend is just if you have like a more subjective question, you're looking for some advice on, okay, well, hey, what apps do you recommend I get started with first based on my scenario? Definitely those kind of questions I'd love to help you out with. If you got just like a little specific problem or just like a little quick question that you like answered or anything with any level of urgency, either talk to the support chat or just get in touch with support@apptivo.com, and you'll get a much faster response that way. But other than that, if there are no more additional questions, I believe we're all set for tonight. So yeah, it looks like we're all okay. So everybody, thank you for attending tonight. I hope you all found this to be quite informative. I'll go ahead and I'll upload this onto the website. You'll probably see it within a couple more days if you'd like to review it in the future. But other than that, thanks for attending the first late night Pacific time webinar, and hope you all have a great one.